issues percolating throughout this country a few years back. During COVID, I might add. That is true. But is 10 months in a Moscow prison enough? Alex Stein, is that enough?
So that's the negative part of that, but the positive certainly has been that people are watching. I mean, we brought tens of millions of new people into our sport last year.
The WNBA just got hit with a bombshell nobody saw coming, and the internet is straight up losing it. Stephen A. Smith went on air and mid-rant about truth in sports, dropped Brittney Griner's name like it was nothing. And now the league's commissioner is reportedly furious. Let's be clear, this isn't about pushing rumors with no receipts. What I'm laying out is exactly what Stephen A. said, how fans are reacting, and why this could explode into one of the league's ugliest scandals in years. Brittney Griner's story hasn't just been about basketball for a long time. From her arrest in Russia to that jaw-dropping release, she's been headline news worldwide. And now, with Stephen A. tossing DNA test talk into the mix, the WNBA just got pulled into chaos they clearly weren't ready for. What's making it even messier? The commissioner's silence. Instead of shutting this down fast, the league has gone quiet. And that silence is only sparking louder questions. People online are demanding receipts, calling out the league, and asking why there's no real response. So the debate isn't just, is this DNA test real anymore? The bigger issue is, how much pressure can the WNBA handle before fans, sponsors, and even players demand answers straight from the top? And the craziest part? Stephen A. didn't drop hints or dance around it. In classic Stephen A. fashion, he flat out threw Brittney Griner's name into the spotlight during a segment on honesty in sports. And ever since, social media has been on fire. Stephen A. didn't just casually drop Brittney's name, he doubled down and dragged her Russia saga into the conversation, hinting that maybe, just maybe, a DNA test overseas revealed something the public never heard about. And instantly, the whole vibe shifted. This wasn't a faceless troll on Twitter trying to stir the pot, and it wasn't some random Reddit rumor that could be brushed off. This was Stephen A. Smith, the loudest voice in sports media, planting that seed live on national television with millions watching. And the way he did it? Slick. He didn't confirm a thing, but he also never denied it. He dangled that statement like bait, and within minutes, TikTok and X exploded with clips of fans screaming, "Did he really just say that about the WNBA?" Social media couldn't get enough, and the buzz only grew hotter by the second. That's the nightmare the league never wanted. Because once a personality as massive and influential as Stephen A. gives a rumor airtime, even one that's been shot down before, suddenly it gets new life, and this time it hit like a grenade. Right after Stephen A. dropped that line, all eyes turned to one person, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. And let's be clear, Cathy isn't just some fancy title holder. She's the league's first ever commissioner, the powerhouse pushing for expansion, chasing big money sponsors, and rebranding women's hoops as a global force. She's been the one fighting to drag the WNBA out of the shadows and into the big leagues. But now she's facing a firestorm she never planned for. Here's the real problem. When it comes to this Griner mess, Cathy Engelbert's silence is deafening. No statement, no quick press release, not even the classic, "We're aware of the chatter." Nothing. And in a storm this loud, silence doesn't calm anything. It screams like you're hiding something. Fans are already whispering that Cathy's radio silence feels like full-blown panic mode. Because if the commissioner herself can't shut down a rumor that's been debunked countless times, what does that say about the league's credibility? And the timing? Couldn't be worse. The WNBA was supposed to be enjoying its biggest glow-up in history. Ratings skyrocketed a jaw-dropping 170% last season. The league finally got its first new franchise since 2008, the Golden State Valkyrie. For once, the conversation wasn't about half-empty arenas or teams fighting to survive. It was about packed stadiums, viral highlight reels, and real money pouring in.
I think it's important to understand that there are millions of Americans who may not say anything, but do share his position. You were in the United States. You didn't want to stand for the national anthem. You wanted to protest some of the things that were going on in this country, which is obviously and totally your right. The flip side, however, is that there are an abundance of people, including many, because I know a few in the military who feel this way.
So rivalries are generally good for sports. In women's sports, sometimes it's complicated by the social media vitriol, which we denounce. It's terrible what some of these players have to endure. And so the hatred, the vitriol, the misogyny, the homophobia, the racism, there's no place for it in sport. And we like to be known in sport as a big uniter.
Sponsors were flooding the table, and TV networks were finally treating women's basketball like it belonged in prime time. Until this chaos hit. For the first time in forever, the WNBA actually had undeniable hype. Fans were buzzing about the Valkyries' debut, about A'ja Wilson chasing a third MVP, about the league finally breaking through. But now, the trending topics aren't about the games or the stars. They're about Brittney Griner's voice, her body, and some so-called Russian DNA test with zero receipts. It's insane. The league's biggest victory is getting smothered by what could be its ugliest scandal ever. And of course, the internet ran wild with it. Because right when the WNBA was celebrating opening week, a random courtside video of Griner blew up on TikTok and X. Nothing controversial even happened. She was just chatting with someone. But the mic picked up how deep her voice is, and that was all it took for people to start stirring the pot. Clips spread like wildfire with captions saying, "Just watch this, you'll get it." Here's the thing. Anyone who's really followed Brittney Griner knows this ain't new. She's always had that deep voice, and she's spoken about it openly for years. It's been part of her story since she was a teenager. But for casual fans who don't follow her, hearing that courtside audio felt shocking, and that's why the clip racked up millions of views in hours, with the comments section going absolutely wild.
Happy?
Well, are you ready for long flight?
Yes.
Yes. No. Good.
Okay, explain. So you saved someone from...
We were off-roading, and this family flipped their side-by-side. They tried to stop it from flipping, put their legs out, and shin bone came through on the guy, and then the girl broke her ankle, and bone came through. Me and my friends, we jump off, we flipped it back, help them out. I take my shirt off, wrap it around the girl's leg. It's like pulling out blood, and no one would help them. And like, there was no cell reception. So we put them on our side-by-sides and we drove them out. And then we waited with them until the ambulances.
When was this?
This was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. No.
Oh my God. And
crazy.
Are you're okay with blood and all the gory stuff?
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah, I am.
Oh my God.
With that, yeah.
Was that the last time you felt like a hero?
Yeah, I really felt like a hero in that moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a crazy...
And those comments? Brutal. People were posting things like, "Yeah, that's a dude. He gets to dunk on women all day and then change with them in the locker room. This nonsense has to end." Others piled on with even harsher takes, typing, "That's a dude. Never once have I thought otherwise," and spinning it as so-called proof to back up the exact conspiracy Stephen A. had just dragged back into the spotlight. But the trolls weren't done yet. The moment that audio blew up, they went digging again. And of course, out came the infamous shirtless pool video. You know the one. It's been floating around for years, and every time Brittney's name trends, it magically resurfaces like it's brand new. And just like clockwork, it was back, fueling more rumors and giving the internet fresh ammo to run wild with. Now, plenty of fans stepped in to defend her, calling out the nonstop harassment she's been forced to endure. But the trolls doubled down, recycling the same tired narrative over and over. Suddenly, instead of celebrating her debut with Atlanta and her actual dominance on the court, all eyes were back on her body. Not her skills, not her stats, not the real impact she brings to the game. And this is where everything circles back to the real spark behind this whole storm. Russia. In 2022, Brittney was arrested at Moscow airport for vape cartridges, slammed with a brutal 9-year sentence, and suddenly, the entire world was watching. Then came the jaw-dropping prison swap, and the first footage of her finally walking free had everyone glued to their screens.
Have her back now. This is her 8th game back as Asia Wilson cleans it up inside. First points to the Aces.
There's been a couple of checks back and forth between Morrow and Smith out here. Oh, what a pass.
Wilson baseline fader, pretty. Tina Charles doing all she could. Help D was coming over as well, but Asia Wilson, another.
You're 6'9" now. You said even in middle school you were towering over everybody, and that your voice started getting deeper. You weren't developing like the other girls, and that your parents took you to a doctor.
So they really wanted to make sure I didn't have a tumor on my pituitary gland. I don't know, at one point I was kind of like, can we stop? Because it doesn't feel the best, and I felt like a lab rat a little bit.
From middle school to today, Brittney writes she has been mistaken for being male, enduring endless teasing and taunts.
When you're born with a body like mine, a part of you dies every day. With every mean comment and lingering stare, you're the biggest person in the room, but you're also the loneliest. Not a lot of people understand what it is to walk in my shoes. Literally, they're big shoes to fill. But I just feel so isolated at times.
Was basketball a way that you felt seen? It was a home for you?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a home for me. I could be the way I was intended to be, and that's big and different.
But here's the detail that always gets buried under the noise. Brittney has spoken about this long before Russia, years before Stephen A. ever dragged her name into the fire. Back in 2015, she sat down for an ESPN feature and got brutally honest about her voice and what it was like growing up with it. She admitted her voice had always been deeper than other girls her age, and she hated how it made her feel different as a kid. She opened up about being mocked constantly, for towering over her classmates, for not developing like other girls, and for sounding like a boy. That wasn't some rumor. That was her truth. She carried those scars for years, even confessing that she avoided speaking in certain settings just to dodge the jokes and stares. Fast forward to now, she's 6 feet 9 inches, one of the biggest names in women's basketball, but in some ways, nothing has changed. In 2024, she released her memoir, Coming Home, where she went even deeper into those painful memories, describing what it felt like to grow up in a body the world refused to just let her exist in. Instead of being celebrated, she's been dissected, analyzed, and picked apart at every turn. And now, Stephen A. just ripped the scab wide open again. In her own memoir, Brittney laid everything bare, writing about how she was mocked for her height, her chest, and yes, her voice. She revealed how kids used to say she sounded like a grown man before she even reached high school. And that's why this Stephen A. situation cut so deep, because when he casually tossed out that DNA test comment, he wasn't just talking sports, he was tearing open the very wound Brittney has been speaking on in her own words for years. And here's where it gets even uglier. Cathy Engelbert can't stay hidden behind silence anymore. She's not just the commissioner, she is the face of the league. The same woman pushing the WNBA as its breakout season, celebrating sold-out crowds, selling sponsors on the future of women's sports. But just look at the headlines now. Nobody's hyping up the Golden State Valkyries' historic debut. Nobody's talking about Caitlin Clark smashing ratings records. Instead, the entire conversation has been hijacked by rumors about Brittney Griner's body, and Stephen A. is the one who threw that grenade into the spotlight. So the real question isn't whether the league responds. It's what happens if they don't. 2025 was supposed to be the year the WNBA finally leveled up. But with Brittney dragged back into the middle of this storm, the league's big moment risks being defined by the exact controversy Cathy Engelbert hoped would never come back. If you're locked into this drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And of course, hit one of the videos on your screen right now for more breakdowns. See you in the next one.